Well, we are so thrilled to welcome local author Michael Frizell. He is the author of Fame, Chappell Roan. So, Michael, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about it. Do you mind if I hold it up?
No, go right ahead.
So, this just recently came out.
It did.
Okay, so what's the premise of it?
It's all about Chappell Roan's life. You try to think about the comic book as a biography of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Why? Okay. My first thought is like
Sure.
Superman was at least in his 30s before he got it, and he'd been through all this stuff.
Right.
This is like a phenom.
Right.
All right.
A phenomenon.
Yeah,
A phenomenon, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah, but I mean, to think, or she already has her own comic book. This is something.
It was an interesting story about this. I've been writing with Tidal Wave Comics for 15 years, 16 years or so. And the way it used to work is he would send me a list of stars or athletes or someone said, who do you want to work on? And I would start working on this thing. And lately it's been like, well, who do you want to work on? Can you send me some names? And about 6-8 months ago, I said, Chappell Roan. She's a local. I could probably find more information being local. It's great. And he said, nah, she's not ready.
She's not ready. What?
I mean, apparently she needed her Krypton moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. He was waiting for that, and suddenly she won a bunch of Grammys. He's like, okay, she's ready now. And then we started.
She's ready to go.
Right. But fortunately, I already had most of it written because I was excited about the prospect of writing about someone like her. So.
Yeah. So it's 20. This one is 22 pages. But
is.
like you said, you've also got, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. So you really do write about a lot of celebrities. And is it kind of like their rise to fame? Is it about their upbringing? What's kind of the premise for each one?
That's a really good question. And I try to think about it as, you want to pitch this as a real person, right? This is as much of a profile as you can get. So first, figure out who your readers are. Who's going to read a book about Chappell Roan? Maybe not the same people who are going to read about Patrick Mahomes, right? So you want to start thinking about maybe who your readership would be. The next thing is that I just do lots of research, trying to figure out where she came from, why her name is Chappell Roan, why did she change her name, why is she using that stage name?
Yeah.
What is its import? How does she write, her creative process, all of these sorts of things. And I just start working with a script to kind of find a voice that makes sense for it.
So are they more biographical, or is there a look to the future? I mean, do you stop at a finite moment in time, or do you leave more?
Well, with 22 pages, it's always going to be stopping at a finite time, right? It's really a challenge to capture someone in 22 pages.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's about 5 panels a page, 2 big splash pages, right? Some big moments. So maybe it's 100 pictures. So if you were to tell Chappell's story or Patrick's story in 100 photographs, what would that look like?
Oh, wow.
I have to pick and choose. Sometimes I leave stuff on the cutting room floor that I would much rather have kept in. Sometimes you have to gloss over things that maybe others said, that's my favorite part, and you glossed over it, or I got one panel for it. But it's also a comic book. So it's got to have action, and it's got to have some movement, and it's got to have some drama to it. You just don't want to tell her Wikipedia page.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
People can
Exactly.
Google that.
That's what. But I notice on Taylor Swift it says sequel.
Oh, yes.
So there is, you leave room for future growth.
We do if we can.
Yeah.
In the case of the Taylor Swift book, the first book was about her rise to fame, but the second one we wanted to explore her giving, the way that she goes out into communities, or when she shows up at
Her advocacy.
right,
things like
all
that.
of that work, and there was such a rich fan base to pull from there that we felt like a sequel was warranted to do that. And there have been occasions like the Dolly Parton book we did. I wrote about her rise to fame, but what about her libraries and these sorts of things? That was too rich to leave out, and so we ended up doing more. Many of them get updates, unfortunately, when they pass, or if their career changes and these sorts of things. So we do leave room if we can. But I try to think about, for Chappell, I tried to think about, okay, where is she from? What's she doing? And then where is she now? And I kind of left it at the Grammys rather than, moving forward from there. Because it felt like a rise to fame, and now here she was at the pinnacle.
And I have to say, the illustration, just the color alone, my eyes are, on all of these, they're just very bright and vibrant. Do you want to touch on, who your illustrator is for these books?
Sure, I do. I love this book. The interior is actually drawn by a woman named Lucy Fidelis, and then the cover's by Yonami. That's their name. They're both from Brazil. What I liked about Lucy's work was that it's anime style inside.
Okay.
So it's real bright and poppy and feels open. It changes the script some too. You want to work with your artists to make sure that you're both telling the story. It's not just mine.
Yeah.
Do you notice a common theme between all of these artists?
No, not really.
Are they? I mean, very. I mean, I didn't know if you saw a drive in them, or there is something that links them.
Sure, I mean a drive, right?
Yeah.
The artist that I'm throwing pillows
Don't
on
worry.
That's
the couch,
okay.
everything.
We do it all the time.
Well, I'm sitting on this couch with all this coffee in me, Anyway, when I think about my brother's an artist and a graphic designer. His name's David, and he works really hard, long hours, just like writers. It's very solitary. You spend a lot of time staring at a computer, wondering why your life is like this. And, it's that sort of thing. And I don't know a lot of them personally, but the exchanges back and forth is they have a drive to get it right. They want to tell the story well.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part. So I have lots of exchanges with them, even if there's a language barrier.
Yeah.
I tried to use Google Translate once to communicate with them and did not work out. But the whole idea is that we want to tell the story well. And so when I tell the story, of Patrick or whatever, I'm thinking about what his life would be, and then I'm trying to visualize that. But I'm not visual. But the artist is.
Got it.
So then suddenly that changes that dynamic.
Oh, okay.
How can people get their own?
Well, the obvious answer is always Amazon, right? They're everywhere on Amazon. You can also go to tidalwavecomics.com, and they'll show you all kinds of places and retailers where you can get this, and they're available both in print and digital.
Awesome. Michael, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank
was
you.
great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
All right, lots more Unscripted to go. We'll be right back.